what are some of the drivers that have so many traditionally younger people finding themselves in that struggling bucket? Well, there's no great surprise when you're younger. Chances are you are earning a lower income simply because you are at the beginnings of your working life. Chances are you may be carrying some student debt or a lot of student debt, depending on what you've done or what your training has been. Or if you have not been able to access higher education or skills training, then you're already set up for difficulty around earning a lower income because you're unskilled. So all of that speaks to it. But there are some other factors that really have a lot to do with the way Canada and things have changed in this country over the last several generations. So where access to housing, whether the rental market or buying into the market, was something that you could do on what we consider a middle income, or you didn't need to have a high income relative to common poverty statistics. That wasn't necessary. You could access it. Of course, it had, there are differences in terms of what part of town you're living in, or how big or how small your housing was, but the ability to actually get into the housing market wasn't really based on sort of winners and losers and those making super high incomes and then the rest of us, if you will. So that's a big change. When we think about what our grandmothers and grandfathers and parents had to earn and how much they had to save in order to put down a down payment on a house, particularly in Canada's urban centers, Toronto, Vancouver, it's a completely different story. There are also some other factors. So when we think about what are the essentials in life, technology has driven us to a place where you kind of need those so-called extras. You need a mobile phone. You need access to the internet, not just to stay connected or for entertainment purposes, but can you imagine looking for a job in Canada today without either of those tools? And yes, you can make the argument that internet is available at public libraries and that kind of thing, but the reality is those are seen as necessities. And that's not a one-time purchase like a color TV. That's a one-time purchase of a computer or of a phone, but then ongoing monthly fees, which again add to monthly expenses or debt burden. So these are some of the things that have changed over time that add to the bucket of expenses that young people are having to pay for, all against the backdrop of less income relative to inflation. We live in a time period where things are more expensive, and in terms of take-home pay, I think we know that people's take-home pay, their disposable income, has not risen with the cost of living. And so you look at those three factors, little wonder so many younger Canadians do find themselves in that struggling category.